All right, we're getting ready for a winter drive today. You can see all the leaves are gone. I do live in Orlando, but right now I'm in the Chicago metropolitan market, and I have to drive to Champaign, Illinois to pick up my daughter and then drive back. So the question is, how many miles per kilowatt hour will I get? And normally in this thing, I'll get it, 3 plus. And I just wanted to show you here. The car says 354 miles of range, 100% battery. But as a regular EV driver, I know that 354 is based on a lot of local driving and nicer weather than this. The temperature currently says 53 degrees because we just pulled out of the garage where I had the car charging. That's why it's at 100%. The actual temperature right now is probably 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So we don't have a cold car yet, but we're going to drive in cold weather. And I have to go 250 miles round trip. And my question to you is, can we make it? The car says a minimum of 234, so it could be very close. I've got plenty of places I can stop on the way back and forth if necessary, but we're also going to hop up on the interstate. It's mostly probably 20% state roads and then 80% interstate. So we're going to find out how many miles I can get and if I need to stop for a minute or two and just top off when it gets really low, but we'll find out, and keep your fingers crossed for me. Just a quick stop right before I get on the interstate. You can see that I'm only averaging 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour at, 40 miles per hour average. I'll have to do the calculation later. Used 8% of the battery, and I happen to notice that my tire pressures are low. So I'm gonna see if there's a gas station by the interstate entrance and add a little air, and then we're gonna jump on the highway. And there's a significant wind, 10, 15 miles per hour. And as you can see in the lower left, center left, the temperature is 30 degrees according to the car. So we're gonna go see if we can find a air pressure machine, tire pump machine, air machine, and top off the tires and then get back on the road. In case you didn't know, almost always in every car, there's a little sticker for your tires down here. And it says that mine should be at 38 PSI, and as I showed you a minute ago, they're at 33. I found a nice Circle K with an air machine, and we're gonna see if we can get all the tires to 38, maybe 39, because it should be a little bit higher because I've already drove for half an hour. All right, I can confirm that it's cold, and the wind, brutal, absolutely brutal, but I think the tires are all up to pressure now. And just a quick screenshot here again, 22 miles in, total miles on the car, 5571. And if I haven't said it before, this is a Ioniq 5, model year 2025 in the USA, the SEL trim with the stock wheels and tires. And now that we have air pressure, we're gonna get back to our drive, and I'll give you an update a little later. Well, I've made it to my destination, 112 miles in total, but you can see on the bottom right that we're at 46% state of charge, which means under these conditions with 15 to 20 mile per hour winds, mostly from the side, so I'm not going to get a big boost going back towards Chicago, but we're not going to make it back. So 224 miles is too much when the weather is 33 degrees and you're doing a pretty good speed. This is after, no, we don't want that. We want this, the current trip after I stopped to get air. The average speed here is probably 70, 71, 72 miles per hour. I can do the exact math later. 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. The total history of the car so far is 3.4. It was 3.5 when we started, so this trip was particularly inefficient compared to the others. And I think if I go to the EV settings here, and I wanted to check, yes, there we go, only 4% of the energy used was keeping me warm. I have the thermostat at 67. I have a coat on. Electronics are only 1%. So all of the energy was used to drive the car. So slightly less efficient because of the temperature and the wind. I guess the temperature and the wind are really the only things that have made this less efficient. I think in the summer I could easily make this trip down here and back without charging, but we're gonna have to charge on the way back. I'm gonna look at my options and figure out where to stop, and we'll drop that in the video. I've decided on our charging location. It's in Gilman, Illinois. It's about halfway back to the south suburbs of Chicago, and a nice Iona station there. Very affordable, very fast. Have used it in the past. Really good location. And since I'm at 46% of battery and that's about halfway back, I would expect to use another 25, 27% of the battery, maybe even 28%. So we should get there with 20%, give or take. And it's going to take us about an hour. I don't know if I see the time on here. It's going to take us about an hour to get there. And as soon as I put it in the map, the battery preconditioning turned on right away. In the new Iona, oh my God, not the Iona, in the new Ioniq 5, which I'm driving, the 2025 model, you can start battery preconditioning manually, but I just mapped, as I told you, and you can see over here how much power this is using, 4.6 kilowatt. So if it continues to do that for the next hour as we drive towards Gilman, that is going to effectively reduce our battery by 4.6 kilowatt, which is going to be 5 or 6% reduction in the battery. So maybe we won't get there with 20%, but maybe 15%. But hopefully, because of the battery preconditioning, we can just plug in right away and get a nice fast charging speed. We have arrived at the Iona charging station. One little glitchy thing with the map, it says we're going to be there at 11:58 and it's 11:50. I don't know why there's 8 extra minutes. It's trying to have me drive circles around here, so it's confused. We did not get 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour going north. That's the average for the trip. And since the charging, we've done 164 miles. You can see down on the right, 9%. When I started this route, the battery preconditioning turned on right away. It stopped at 18%. It turned on again at 10% with only a mile and a half to go to this stop. So we're at only 9%, 16 miles of range, and hopefully I haven't outsmarted myself because these chargers better freaking work. Hopefully the wind sound is not too bad. I think I have plug and charge working. I just plugged in the car and there it is, charging started. That maybe was 20 seconds. It does say here that it's 22 minutes to 80%. And we're in charger 2B. And it's ramping up. It's 60 kilowatts. So it's ramping up pretty good. So we're going to let this process for a minute or two, and I'll let you know how fast it eventually got because it's ramping up nicely. Well, as you can see here, it is now going almost 200 kilowatt at 12%. And the temperature here is probably 32 degrees Fahrenheit, about freezing, 20 mile per hour winds. The driving north was actually worse than driving south. I was hoping to get a little boost from the wind, but it actually got worse going northbound. So we got about 1.7, 1.8 miles per kilowatt hour is my guesstimation going north. And so we're going to need to charge here for a few minutes. We've still got another hour to drive, so I'm going to check the range that I need and charge to that and add some extra just in case. All right, I've double checked. We need 60 more miles of range. We now have about 40. It is still charging, you can see in the bottom right of the screen, over 200 kilowatt. This car in perfect weather can go up to 265 kilowatt. And I think as we continue charging, it's probably going to continue getting faster. It would be 19 minutes to 80%. So we've been charging probably 2 or 3 minutes already. So that's really close. It's guessing really close to optimal. So the battery preconditioning, while scary, did its job, and we are getting a lot of electricity. There's the temperature, current temperature 34 degrees, but the battery preconditioning, like I said, turned on immediately. It went until the battery got down to 18%, and then unexpectedly, big surprise to me, about 10%, it turned back on when we were only a mile or two from the exit. So adding electricity will continue to warm the battery, and this may continue to go faster and faster as we go. We need 60 miles of range, but I'm probably going to go to 110 or so just to make sure that the estimating is not flawed. And again, with the cold and the wind, we might do pretty low average miles per kilowatt hour. Well, I'm guessing the battery has now reached the optimal temperature. In the bottom right there in that blue, you can see kilowatts 244. So the battery preconditioning, while taking away battery percentage and possible range, as far as the ability to charge fast when it's 34 degrees out, it did its job. This is better than I expected, honestly. Absolutely crushing the speed. Now only 16 minutes to 80%, and we'll be out of here in just a couple more minutes. All right, you can see in the bottom right, 250 kilowatt. Absolutely amazing. Wanted to get to at least 100 miles of range. We now have 112, so I got to go out and unplug this bad boy, and we'll get back on the roads. So hang on with me here. That was easy, absolutely amazing. And let's see one more time here. 251. I'm really tempted to leave this to charge longer. We have been here 8 minutes, 30 kilowatt hour, now at 252, but we need to get moving. But absolutely beast mode. Hit the stop button. Are you sure you want to stop? Yes. And then we hear everything shutting down, and 36 cents per kilowatt hour at this time. Thank you, Iona. This was quick and easy. The station here has CCS and NACS, Monocle's Pizza, Burger King, Mobile across the street, and then next door is actually a Pilot Flying J with Electrify America stations. I'm sorry, with EV Go stations, which is one of the reasons I like to stop here, because you have 2 high power stations at the same exit. All right, made it back to the house, so all is well. All the way down to 13% state of charge, only 28 miles of extra range left, and I put in about 60 more than I thought I needed. So the car was still adjusting, 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and the only reason it's that high is because the last 20 miles were on state roads, but the cold weather and the 20 mile per hour wind really crushed it. But I am more than overjoyed with how fast the car was able to charge at 34 degrees. So hopefully this helps you understand, maybe, and charge your own Ioniq 5. Just wanted to add in another thought or two about this drive. When I was filming the station, I happened to catch flags flapping in the wind across the road, and later looked up how one can use a flag to measure wind speed. And based on the flag's behavior, the wind was well over 30 miles an hour, possibly 35 or even 40 miles per hour, which explains why it hurt so much in the cold, and why it was so loud. My apologies for that in the recording. And of course, here's just a quick photo of the car back in the Chicagoland area. And it looked like with those conditions, getting 180 miles might be the top end some of that's from the temperature, but I think the vast majority of it was the crushing wind. And we did a little bit better at the very beginning because the battery was relatively warm because it had been sitting in the garage and had charged overnight. But once the battery temperature fell to about freezing, range dropped, and the 20 to 30 to possibly 40 mile per hour gusts of the wind really crushed the range. This is in Illinois, by the way, so there's virtually no change in elevation in either direction. No uphill, no downhill. So it's just something for you to be aware of if you have not driven out on a completely open and exposed highway with no trees, no hills, no towns, just cornfields and soybean fields that are without corn and without soybeans. So the wind just whips across it. Be careful in the extreme cold. And it's not because of the amount of energy to heat you, the passenger in the car. That took very little. The heat pump was fantastic. The routing to the charger and turning on the preconditioning while using, a noticeable amount of energy and reducing our driving range, which at some point made it a little bit scary, but it made the car charge as if it was 85 degrees outside. It was absolutely amazing. I bet if I had left it, I would have gotten, 260, 265 before it started to taper off above 50, 55%. So Hyundai crushed it with the battery preconditioning, at least at the freezing temperatures. And the car will charge as fast as normal. Absolutely amazing. Well done, Hyundai. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can you can subscribe, watch the other videos I have. Of course, you can listen to the podcast, The Phil Ferguson Show. Thanks for joining and playing along.